celebrating 125 years of Mountaineer football.
The mountains of West Virginia stood taller than normal in the autumn of 1993. Maybe because a sense of overwhelming pride beamed across this great state. Pride stemming from a never-say-die football team that refused to quit when the challenge seemed too steep to conquer. A football team that wasn't afraid to dedicate itself to becoming the best. The 1993 West Virginia Mountaineers had plenty of goals and objectives and never lost the focus needed to achieve them. For the second time in 6 years, the Mountaineers stunned the college football world by posting a perfect 11-0 record. And though it seemed everyone was against them, this team stuck together with the support of their proud following. The Mountaineers never lost sight of their dreams and earned every ounce of success. The undefeated season was a just reward for this group, who won them all in a season full of dreams and Mountaineer magic. Presented by United National Bank.
The fall of 1993 was exciting for all of us at United National Bank as we continued to enjoy our strong relationship with West Virginia University as the Mountaineers turned in one of the best football seasons in the school's history. Mountaineer magic spread throughout our entire state, and we can all be proud of how this fine football team united together to become one of the top football teams in the nation. The Mountaineers won their first ever Big East championship, and Don Nealon was a unanimous choice for Conference Coach of the Year. Now United National Bank invites you to enjoy the season once again as we relive all the magic of Mountaineer football in 1993.
When preseason camp began in August, this team gathered without a national ranking and few believers. But this team believed and was ready to prove all the experts wrong. It placed the team's leadership role on the broad shoulders of 3 standouts who would serve as captain. Senior Mike Collins was a 4-year starter, a state native who came to Morgantown when the program was at its pinnacle and was determined to get it back there before he left.
Our goal was to gain national recognition through bowl participation, and I think that's what we did this year. And one of the things I wanted to do, I wanted to leave my mark here as a player. And I didn't want to be one of the guys that you could look back and say, well, he never had a successful football team while he was there. I wanted to have a successful team while I was here.
Joining Collins as a defensive captain was Tim Brown. This linebacker showed no fear, led by example, and came to play each week. On offense, the captain was Morgantown native Rich Braham with his rags to riches story. He burst onto the scene as a walk-on and left as a Kodak All-American. His job would be to anchor the offensive line.
Starting at the bottom, I thought I had to go back and talk to a few people. I've done this. I've worked with a few freshmen. I'll talk to them, even if they're on a scout team. You know, sometimes they get upset and stuff. The thing was to just give them kind of my side of it, tell them how I'd had to work for it, and I've achieved my goals. And if they work hard enough, they'll achieve their goals.
The captains were 3 of 27 seniors who were the backbone of the '93 team. This group had been through both good and bad times and knew how to bring the program back into the nation's elite. These seniors knew how to have fun and yet how to stay focused on that one common dream, winning them all. Everyone involved realized that this team had to get the season started on a positive note. That spelled trouble for Eastern Michigan. The opening day festivities and color had Mountaineer fans ready for the new season. The Eagles flew into town with a new coach and a winning attitude, but this day belonged to the Mountaineers. Senior tailback John Jones ran through the Eagles' defense at will. Kicker Todd Sauerbrunn put on a clinic with his leg. And quarterback Jake Kelchner let everyone know that his arm was healthy once again.
Kearney has it. It's a foot race that Kearney will win. Touchdown, West Virginia.
You can't let a team like that hang in with you, you know. You have to go out there and, just take over and put it to them. That's what we did today.
After the game, it was learned that the Mountaineers had lost the services of Jones to a fractured leg and center Dan Harless for several weeks because of a sprained knee. These young men had worked hard in their 4 years and deserved better. One game, and already a major obstacle for Neyland and his team. But an early open week helped the team adjust to an offense without Jones and with a new center before taking to the road for the annual border rivalry with Maryland. The Terps' run and shoot offense would test the Mountaineer defense, while the Gold and Blue offense once again showed its high-powered capability. Making his first Mountaineer start, sophomore Robert Walker ran through the Terp defense for 161 yards. Mike Baker and Jay Kearney were the beneficiaries of a Kelchner passing show. Despite 4 Mountaineer fumbles, the defense came up big when it had to, and the record stood at 2-0. Big 8 foe Missouri awaited the Mountaineers next, but the Tigers didn't have a chance, thanks to the Jake Kelchner to Jay Kearney aerial show. The two hooked up on 3 catches for an impressive 125 yards and 2 scores. Jimmy Gary toted the pigskin for 94 yards to lead the ground game. The Mountaineers got the job done on offense, while the defense baffled the Tigers all day. Missouri could only muster a field goal thanks to 4 WVU interceptions. The Tigers never did find the end zone on the day. Mike Collins was the leader on defense with 8 tackles and a beautiful pickpocket move.
He's within the pile, and I was on the outside, and I grabbed his arm, and I grabbed the ball, and it just spun out and ripped it away from him.
Stood up, and here's the ball taken away. Here comes West Virginia on the march. It's Mike Collins, the senior from Huntington. He's gonna go all the way for the score.
3 games provided 3 wins for the 93 squad. But they also provided something much more important. The Mountaineers found a different way to win each week. That would prove vital in the weeks to come.
The biggest thing you see this year is, last year we had a lot of bad luck with us. Today, we fumbled, we made some mistakes, but we came through. We still won the game, and we won big, even with playing sloppy, I thought. And that's a big difference from last year.
As West Virginia headed into the meat of its schedule, Neyland rested easier knowing that he had 2 of the best quarterbacks in the country. Jake Kelchner and Darren Studstill would complement each other all season long. Both were big-time players who gelled with this explosive offense.
My role was in the offense. It was like, be prepared, like stand on guard, One thing that the coaching staff and myself strive for is just, I think we made a decision that I want to be the starter, but we did not want to miss a beat in the offense. And that's something we strive for week in and week out, knowing if something happened to Jake, I can come in and not miss a beat.
Quarterback not only has to be confident, he's got to be cocky. I mean, you gotta know you can do it. And that's the one thing. I have no doubts in my ability whatsoever, or else I wouldn't be here. I would have gone undefeated, no matter what it takes for me or this team. I want to get this offense executing to the best it could possibly execute. And I feel if we do that, there's no one that can beat us.
Week 4 brought the start of Big East play and the always tough Virginia Tech Hokies to Mountaineer Field. The rivalry with Tech is traditionally fierce, and this Big East Conference opener was vital for both teams. For the first time in '93, WVU showed it had the character to come from behind, using the foot of Todd Sauerbrei. Another big defensive play. And, of course, the running game. With 5 turnovers, WVU probably would have lost this game in past years. But 93 was different. The veteran squad knew how to make its own luck and create its own magic.
We're very, very happy to have won the game. I didn't think we played as well as we could, but when you can play bad and beat a good team, I guess maybe you are a good team, I don't know.
Howard Schnellenberger and his undefeated 17th-ranked Louisville Cardinals flew into Mountaineer Field in Week 5. On the passing of Jeff Brom, the Cardinals led throughout, but the Mountaineers refused to quit. They kept believing. They kept the dream alive. Trailing 7-0, Robert Walker answered. Trailing 21-10, Darren Studstill answered with a touchdown pass to tight end Nate Ryan. Trailing 28-20, Walker answered once again with a 1-yard score before bringing the house down.
Here's Walker on the left side. He's got room. Breaks it at the 35, the 30, the 20, 15, 10, and touchdown. 50 yards for Walker. West Virginia has the lead.
This wild affair ended when Todd Sauerbrunn booted the winning field goal and the Mountaineer defense stopped the Cardinal attack when it had to. West Virginia 36, Louisville 34.
This game is very mental. And it's not as physical as everybody thinks, but it's got to be mental up in here. And I think that our defense play a great mind game, you know, and those guys get out there and fly around. It's very scary because you got Derek Waller and Steve Perkins on the outside, man, and Tim Brown and Wes Richardson in the middle. Hey, it's scary. I know. I practice against them every day.
At 5-0, West Virginia was starting to turn some heads around the country in the national polls. But the final 6 games against Big East foes still loomed. One thing was for certain. This team knew how to win and had fun doing it.
Got the Illinois engine chief. Y'all dig that crazy beat. We had really give them all a treat. When he did that hand jive with his feet. Hand jive, hand jive, hand jive. Do that crazy hand jive.
After a second open week, it was back to business as usual against the Pitt Panthers in the annual Backyard Brawl. The Mountaineers went about this game in a business-like fashion and put the Panthers away 45-21. Walker was again sensational with a 163-yard day. The quarterbacks gave a clinic on how to throw the football as 9 different receivers caught passes. The Mountaineers racked up nearly 600 yards of total offense.
This was a big win for us because, now we got, the snowball rolling downhill, and we're 6-0, and it was 8 teams that were 6-0 coming in today. It's not going to be 8, by the end of tonight.
It wasn't a secret that at 6-0 and ranked 11th, the Mountaineers had momentum on their side. They took that momentum to Syracuse for the long-awaited Big East rematch with the Orangemen at the Carrier Dome. In the days leading up to the game, the entire nation was reminded about the Orange's controversial victory the year before in Morgantown. But no one remembered it more than Don Nehlen and his Mountaineers. An ESPN national audience tuned in and saw one dominating performance by the team wearing gold and blue. Taking a 7-0 halftime lead, second half action brought total Mountaineer domination on both sides of the ball. West Virginia amassed 654 yards of total offense and showed the nation what Mountaineer football was all about.
And the interesting thing is this West Virginia team, as I mentioned before, really is kind of like a well-kept secret. to the rest of the country.
Here goes Walker. Great speed. Walker is gone. 90 yards for Robert Walker. The defense recorded a sweet shutout and made the Orange pay for every yard. To the tune of 43-0. It was one of the most rewarding victories in Neyland's illustrious career, and the emotions poured afterward. Another key factor emerged from this 7th victory. The Mountaineer ground game was for real. West Virginia's running backs were a threat on every play. With his 198 yards on the evening, Robert Walker was now in pursuit of 1,000 yards and the school's single-season rushing record.
At the beginning of the season, me and Jimmy Gary, we planned to have a goal of 1,000 yards. That's my minimum coming into the season. But about the 4th game, that's when I realized that the chances of it happening was, real good.
Walker's success was due in large part to an offensive line that gelled and knew its role as the season progressed.
Well, I think the success came as each player, on the line, we became comfortable with one another, and we knew what was going to happen, on each play, and then we just went out there and did it. And Robert Walker, he came in and he just kept running, and we just like to, open up the holes for him. And with that job, we did that job, and then the passing game fed off the running game.
Week after week, they made the big holes for me. They did what was necessary for me to, make the plays that I made. So, I owe it all to my line. A back is just as good as his line, and, that proved it this year.
At 7-0, West Virginia controlled its own destiny. Staying focused and avoiding a letdown would be the key in the next 2 weeks. Rutgers came to Morgantown with an explosive offense, the same 2 quarterbacks who engineered a victory over WVU in '92. This time, the Scarlet Knights left with a 58-22 defeat. Staying focused wasn't a problem. With a 17-0 second quarter lead, Jake Kelchner pulled his right hamstring and was out for the game. However, Darren Studstill made sure the offense didn't miss that beat. Receivers Mike Baker and Jay Kearney were sensational with nearly 300 yards receiving between them. The defense even got in on the scoring on a David Mayfield 82-yard interception return. WVU was 8-0, ranked 7th, and running full speed ahead to Temple, where the Owls had everything to gain and nothing to lose by playing the Mountaineers.
We don't have no reason to let down. We still got a lot we want to try to prove, and everybody's just staying focused, and we're going out and trying to play one game at a time. That's what we're doing.
You don't like to look ahead, but we have Miami coming in here, but we got to get Temple out of the way. And like I said, we're 8-0, and Temple hasn't been winning too many games. So, it's kind of hard not to look ahead, but we're going to hang in there and take one game at a time.
In Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium, Studstill ran the offense to perfection as Kelchner nursed the sore hamstring. Darren threw for 274 yards and 3 touchdowns. Walker reached the 1,000-yard plateau, and John Jones made an emotional return. The Mountaineer defense almost pitched a shutout again as the Owls scored with just under a minute to go. Still, this defense was playing well and not getting much credit. With 2 games left against Miami and Boston College, the defense would be thrusted into the spotlight. And these performers welcomed the challenge. Standouts such as Wes Richardson, Tim Brown, Mike Collins, Scott Gaskins, and Tommy Orr were ready for the national attention.
Had a no-lose attitude.
It's a team effect.
it was billed as the biggest game ever in Morgantown. The festivities and color surrounding the event will be remembered by Mountaineer faithful for a lifetime. The date was November 20th, and more than 70,000 fans packed Mountaineer Field to see two of college football's elite, the 4th-ranked Miami Hurricanes and the 9th-ranked Mountaineers. The national media spotlight was on Morgantown this day. The ABC television cameras, along with hundreds of reporters from across the nation, were on hand to see if West Virginia's national championship dream was for real. They were there to see if the Mountaineers could hand Miami its very first loss in the Big East. The league's top two teams battled back and forth in the first 30 minutes, with West Virginia holding a slim 3-0 halftime lead. Second half action was one of the most exciting in Mountaineer Field history. The Canes went on top 7-3, only to see WVU battle back for a 10-7 advantage. When Miami moved ahead 14-10 midway through the fourth quarter, the Mountaineers could have quit. However, they chose to keep their undefeated dream alive and shock the nation. Here's how they did it.
Kelchner and the Mountaineers with a 1st and 10. The ball is at the Miami 19-yard line now. Mountaineers down by 4. Here's Walker. Walker left side. Walker 10 more girls score. Mountaineers lead.
The final score read West Virginia 17, Miami 14. WVU had beaten one of college football's most feared teams. It was a great day, and Mountaineer fans went into a frenzy as their team made a strong claim for the national title.
Do you think a win at Boston College next Friday will finally put you in position to play for a national championship, or does something still have to happen to Nebraska or Florida State in this poll thing?
Well, I think that if Nebraska beats Oklahoma and we beat Boston College, you could be a guy with an IQ of 5 and not know that those two teams have to play for the national championship.
A chance for the second perfect season in 5 years, the Big East Championship, and a New Year's Day Bowl awaited the Mountaineers on Thanksgiving weekend. The last hurdle to climb for the nation's 3rd-ranked team was the high-flying Boston College Eagles. An ESPN national audience watched West Virginia stop the vaunted Eagles' passing attack time after time in the first half. But BC took a 14-3 lead with just over 13 minutes to play. It was time for another West Virginia gut check. Did these Mountaineers still believe? Was the magic of a perfect season going to fall one game short? The final minutes will go down as some of the most exciting in Mountaineer history. Filling in for Kelchner, Darren Studstill led a nail-biting 77-yard drive. Then with the Eagles driving again, Steve Perkins forced a BC fumble recovered by Mike Logan. Studstill was 63 yards away from victory. 4 plays later, the Gold and Blue were 24 yards away with just over a minute to play. Mountaineer fans will never, ever forget this next play.
Studstill firing for the end zone. And a catch to the end zone. Touchdown, West Virginia, as the ball is pulled in by Ed Hill. Tightly covered. Hill gave the defensive guy a little push. He pulls it in, and the Mountaineers take a 15-14 lead. Holy smokes.
The hills of West Virginia came alive with Ed Hill's dramatic catch. When Mike Logan picked off a final Eagle desperation pass, that magic score of 17-14 stood, and West Virginia had its perfect season. The game also saw Robert Walker become the school's all-time single-season rushing leader as he broke a mark that stood for 24 years. The comeback brought WVU its first Big East championship and a right to play for the national title.
I thought Boston College just played a great football game. I really did. I think Tom and his staff were outstanding, and You know, last year we couldn't get one break, and this year we got a lot of them. So good Lord's been with us. We'll take it. That's 11-0, baby. 11-0.
The Mountaineers received a well-deserved hero's welcome upon their arrival in Morgantown. Fans poured out their hearts to this team for making them feel 10 feet tall. No one enjoyed this magical moment any more than receiver Mike Baker. He said all along that this club could go undefeated if it kept believing. He was the guy that kept this team loose, and he was the leader of one of the best group of receivers in Mountaineer history.
You have to go out there with attitude and a right frame of mind that, hey, this is our game, and we're going to take over at any point in time. And that's my thing. I like to take over the game any time.
Because we realize that this is our last shot. This may be the last time we ever play football together. This may be the last time we ever play football, period. So we were determined all summer long to make this a special season, and so far it's turned out that way. Jay is our big time, deep threat. I mean, Coach really likes to go downtown with Jay. I mean, because Jay has great speed, Jay's a long strider, and Jay just does what it takes.
The coaching staff can't make us any better than we want to be. We have to want it, and I think that's the thing about this team this year. We are hungry for victory.
The Mountaineers found themselves ranked third in the AP and Bowl Coalition polls and second in the CNN USA Today Coaches Poll. By turning down a Cotton Bowl bid, West Virginia's chance at a split national title rested with its acceptance to play Florida in the USF&G Sugar Bowl.
Last Tuesday, the executive committee of the Sugar Bowl was informed that West Virginia University, given the choice of playing in the Cotton Bowl or the Sugar Bowl, wanted to come to New Orleans. The executive committee unanimously passed a resolution inviting and accepting West Virginia University to the 60th Annual Sugar Bowl Football Classic.
Beautiful sunny weather and the Sugar Bowl red carpet greeted the Mountaineers upon their arrival in New Orleans. The Mountaineers had a week to enjoy their hard-earned bowl trip and to prepare for Florida. Meetings and practices made up the schedule during the day as the Superdome impressed everyone. Sugar Bowl events like the trip to Jefferson Downs and the Aquarium of the Americas entertained in the evening, along with the famed Bourbon Street. As the week progressed, the national media gathered at the Sugar Bowl to see if West Virginia could record a 12th win and earn a share of the national title. The atmosphere was full of electricity on New Year's night in the Superdome. Mountaineer fans turned out in large numbers at the Crescent City to watch their team play the Southeastern Conference champion for a chance to reach college football's pinnacle. A primetime television audience tuned in to see West Virginia dominate the first quarter of play with an aggressive defense and a big play offense. However, uncharacteristic penalties and mistakes that WVU avoided in the regular season plagued the Mountaineers for the remaining 3 quarters. The result was a Florida victory, and West Virginia's chance at a national championship fell 1 game short once again. These Mountaineers were a proud team and handled defeat with class. West Virginia fans can always remember this fact when they look back at all the great things that their team accomplished in 1993. Together, the Mountaineers won the Lambert Trophy for only the 2nd time in school history. Together, the Mountaineers went undefeated in the Big East and won the league's first outright championship after being picked in the preseason to finish 4th. Part of the magic of this 93 team was its togetherness. Led by Coach Don Nealon, who was once again selected as one of the nation's top coaches, 16 Mountaineers received postseason honors. Names of West Virginia players filled the lists of All-America, All-East, Big East, ECAC, AP, UPI, Kodak, and CFA awards. The Mountaineers finished the season ranked 6th after playing 6 nationally ranked teams, 5 that participated in postseason bowl games. The 1993 football season will certainly be one that Mountaineer fans will remember for a lifetime. It will go down in the books as one of the greatest in the history of West Virginia football. Fans will remember the magic that filled Mountaineer Field and the entire state. They will remember the pride that this team gave them. This squad dedicated itself to bringing nothing but the best to West Virginia football and succeeded. Mountaineer magic was special in 1993. This team once again rallied an entire state behind it and made everyone feel good about themselves. This team proved that togetherness and belief in others is strong enough to move mountains. Mountaineer Magic has been presented by United National Bank.
Celebrating 125 years of Mountaineer football.